Welcome to La Artisteada, where we celebrate and center creatives of color. This episode was brought to you by Color Compton, the organization building communities across cultures and generations through history and the arts. They aim to elevate youth's artistic skill and education to foster future art abolitionists. Now, let's get started. Welcome to La Artisteada with Kiara González Duran. Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of La Artisteada. This is literally our first episode of 2026, so this is going to be very exciting. Today, we are here with Vanita Leo. She is a San Antonio Cumbia pop tejano artist and a self-proclaimed quintessential working class Hot Cheeto girl. In 2024, she was on Rolling Stone's Latin Artist Honor Radar, and just last year, her song La Cumbia Wepa was number 35 on Rolling Stone's Best 50 Songs by Latin and Spanish Songs of 2025. And she also just released a few months ago her first EP, Cumbiamante, and we are just so excited to have her here to talk about all of these things today. Welcome, Vanita Leo. Woo!
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you. Right now, it's when the audience would scream because you're here. We're gonna put some little additional audio for people. Yeah,
yeah.
Well, we always like to start with this question. Beyond the cameras, beyond what people can see on social media or what people hear on streaming platforms. Who is Vanita Leo?
Vanita Leo is, I am an artist from San Antonio, like you said, a cumbia artist. I grew up listening to tejano music. I come from a long lineage of tejano musicians. And I like to say that what I am represents a blend of multiple cultures. Yes.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so you mentioned that you grew up in a family of musicians. Can you talk about what that was growing up, being in a space where people love music?
Yeah, of course. So my father is a tejano musician. He used to play with a band called Grupo Rodeo. And next to him was my tío Poncho as well in the band. Also, aside from that, was my tía Esme. And my tía Esme was heavily involved in the scene. She would be on the same ballots as Selena Quintanilla. And then my dad and my tío awarded Selena Quintanilla one of her last Tejano Music Awards.
Wow.
So just being involved in that culture alone and being so connected to those powerful families, having that connection to them, it was very inspiring growing up. Whenever my dad had his children, we ended up picking up side hustles downtown, selling raspas and vending, and we would go work and I would listen to cumbia music during the fiesta celebration that they hold every year in San Antonio, and my dad would go perform at the mercado. So I would stop working selling raspas to go see him perform, and it was always just very inspiring, very inspiring.
Oh, I love it. And maybe this is a stupid question, but raspas is raspados?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm very. I feel like Tejano and Los Angeles.
I don't think I've ever heard raspas, so I was let me just clarify that was what you were selling.
Yeah, raspas. Yeah, we call them raspas over there.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh. Okay, I love that you grew up in a setting where music was part of who you were literally from a young age. You were exposed to what you're doing right now. Can you also talk about what it was growing up in San Antonio? I think that, we hear of, you just mentioned Selena, and we hear her documentary just came out, I don't know if it was last month. And I was oh my gosh, she also grew up with a family of musicians, and your father, your uncle, your aunt were part of history right now.
Definitely.
And you are, I guess, the culmination. I don't know if the culmination is the right word, but the product of that history. Can you talk a little bit more about what was it growing up in San Antonio where people knew Selena even?
Yeah, for sure. I think going beyond my dad and his siblings, my abuela's from Mazatlan, Sinaloa.
Oh, wow.
And she came to the United States where she met my grandfather from Natalia, Texas. And he was a trio musician. So alike to Selena's father, he was in a I believe a trio, or it was like a conjunto group or something. Like it might have been oldies. It was oldies, I believe. So whenever my grandfather started helping my tia come up in the industry, it was like side by side to Selena's father with his daughter. So I just feel like, and my grandfather as well was, I said like a trio musician. So like with boleros and romanticos, and then you bring in tejano and cumbia. It was beautiful to be around multiple genres, and I think it's awesome. I do feel like my family was a big part of or was not a big part, but a part of that history in Texas. So I mean, it's cool. Yeah.
Us. And what made you want to pursue that? Because I think that many times like children of artists are like, oh, that's like their thing, but you were like so involved in like a family of musicians that and also I saw in my research, I saw that you also went to a mariachi school, right?
I did, yes. My tia Esmeralda ended up marrying my tío Mike, who is a mariachi maestro in San Antonio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so you went to this school. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, my dad, he used to do a lot of chambas growing up. So when I was like 5, I told him like, hey, I want to sing. And he was like, okay, like let's sing. And he brought me on stage, and they felt like I had a voice. So my dad was like, we're going to send you to go study with your tío, because he's going to teach you how to have like etiquette and musical etiquette and teach you how to have control and how to just like train me vocally. So that was awesome. And then after that, I think I've watched all the Selena documentaries, and I love her so much because it's just the experience that she had. It's so relatable. Because I went through the same thing of growing up and like being like, my dad, like, yeah, he does tejano music. It's so lame. Like tejano's so lame. And she went through the same thing. Like she didn't want to do tejano music. But then in high school, I really wanted to like get closer to my culture. Like I feel like a lot of Mexican American kids go through that as well, where they kind of like are so immersed into pop cultures, or it just feels like two separate things, like you have the pop culture, American pop culture over here, and then you have all the music your parents listen to. So in high school, I really wanted to get closer to it. I was tired of people like kind of taking my Mexican card away.
How are people doing that?
Well, I don't know. It's just like I'm Mexicana, right? But if I don't speak Spanish good enough, or if you don't like listen to the music, like I don't know. I just feel like a lot of Mexican American kids go through that, where they have kind of like identity crises.
Yeah.
And in high school, I just felt like no, like I want to feel closer to my grandfather, especially because I was listening to his discos and stuff, and I thought bolero music was so beautiful. I would do mariachi and stuff, and like I was very immersed in that part of the culture. But I just felt like I didn't really look inwards as much as I should have, and I think that that's definitely something that happens in America. Like America kind of wants that to happen. Like they want people to forget about their cultural roots.
Yeah, but I think honestly, like I'm from Tijuana, and I think that happens at least in the north, right? It's like a border city, and I remember that in the radio, like it was. You were cool if you listened to Lady Gaga, or you were cool if you listened to Katy Perry. And it was like for me, I guess in Tijuana was corridos, right? I was like, I know, like, ay, ¿quién escucha corridos? And it was like a thing that I was just like so distant and looked, I guess like down upon.
It was frowned upon.
Yeah. And I think it was for me that awakening. I'm glad you had it in high school. Cause like for me, it wasn't until college that I started feeling like so distant from my culture. And it was interesting because then I started listening to a lot of banda, and I had never like listened. I was like it was like looked down upon to listen to banda in Tijuana, but then I was like, I just miss it. So it's interesting that you had that awakening in high school. And then did you start making that music then, or?
Well, yeah. So what happened was, so like growing up, I was very close to my grandma, my grandma from Mazatlan.
Mhm.
Very close to my grandma. She'd take care of me. I'm like consentida. So growing up,
Wait, I need to tell you, it's so funny because I'm like, how would you translate consentida in English? The
I'm
other
just
day I
her
was like,
favorite. Like, I'm my mama's favorite. Sorry, primos. Like,
but I'm
y'all
like,
already know.
oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's me with my mom.
Yeah. But my grandma, she would watch me a lot and teach me Spanish. And she would always tell me, like, if anybody asks you, you say you are Mexicana. Like, you don't say you're American. Like, que tú eres Mexicana, always. So I always had that with me. Like, I'm Mexicana. And one time I dated this guy in high school, and his parents were from Mexico. And his mom was just like, she's not Mexican enough. And I just remember being like, what? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I just like, instead of getting like bitter about it, I was like, maybe I do need to do more. Maybe I do need to respect the culture more and dive more into it and immerse myself into it. Also at this time, that's when Cuco was coming out.
Mhm.
I was getting really into Natalia Lafourcade, Mon Laferte, Omar Apollo, all of these like, Latino American artists. And I really loved it. And so I started watching like more novelas so I could like learn better Spanish. I was watching Casa de las Flores on Netflix. My favorite. Yeah. But I definitely feel like it's not something anybody should be ashamed of. I feel like it's what colonizers wanted. It's what America essentially wanted, was for us to forget our roots. Aside from my grandma from Mexico, all of my other family are all Mexican Americans. And my mom's mom, my great grandmother spoke only Spanish. So my grandmother, she would share with me, my mom's mom shared with me, like in high school, we weren't allowed to speak Spanish at schools. Like they would hit us if we spoke Spanish at schools. And then at home, like our parents wouldn't want us to speak English because they didn't understand it. So a lot of my Texas family, they speak Spanglish straight up. Like just Spanglish. So, I mean, I don't think anybody should ever be ashamed of that. I think it's a beautiful journey and it's very normal.
I think it's so interesting because a lot of this shame often comes from people that are from Mexico, and I can attest to that because I'm from there, and I grew up in a city that has a lot of immigrants, both from like southern Mexico and the U.S. And it's like, oh, this idea of like pochos, right? But it's like, no, like people come from those histories of being told that they shouldn't speak Spanish.
We are victims of erasure, straight up.
Yeah, and a lot of people like don't really, I don't know if people don't know, but from that ignorance comes this bullying, and it's like, no, respect. People don't, the reality is that people were forced to not speak Spanish historically, right? So like if the following generations that come don't speak it, people shouldn't be ashamed. Also, you're like third, fourth generation in a place that speaks English.
Yes.
So, and like, I think it's beautiful for people to speak both languages, but I do think that like this shame is often perpetuated by people who don't know this history.
Yes.
It's like, hermana, edúcate.
And even them and themselves, like I do feel empathy for those people as well. I feel empathy for the Mexican Americans in Texas that don't want to identify with their Mexican roots at all, because I'm like, baby girl, you're a victim too, ni sabes.
Yeah.
And then I feel empathy as well because I mean I do feel like as much as I hate like how you say like a lot of the hate does come from like people in Mexico, it has pushed me to immerse myself more. So I'm not mad at it. Don't take people's Mexican cards away, please. Yeah. But if you are representing the culture, you should respect it and do your best to learn the language and represent it in the best way you can.
Oh, I love it. I'm like, oh, your words are music to my ears.
Thank you so much.
And then, okay, so then when did you decide to make this your career? When were you like, you know what, I'm actually going to dedicate myself to pursuing music?
My primo came, my primo was away for a little bit, and I had a very close relationship with him. He went to South Carolina for a while. I came back after 2 years, and I was like, primo, like I've been like listening to a lot of boleros, and I really like Mon Laferte right now. I really like Natalia Lafourcade. Can we try to make something and like add like a modern element or like I don't know, just different influences like of pop culture. So we did a rendition of Historia de un Amor, and it was spectacular. It was great. I loved it. I thought it was, I had a really good response from people. And I knew my whole life I wanted to pursue music. Mi papá no me dejaba. Like he was really scared because him and his siblings all started at a young age, and they ended up being mad at their parents for it. So he wanted me to be sure about it. But I did tell him, I was like, Dad, I think I would have been one of those kids. I would have loved it though. But everything happens for a reason, you know? So when I got started, I think it was perfect.
Oh, I love that you say that, because I think that yeah, like a lot of people are like, oh, these como que I heard people say como que artists that come from like that are the children of other artists are just like living their parents' frustrated dreams, right? And so I'm glad that your parents like protected that desire to pursue a creative career. And for people who maybe did not have that privilege of having family that are in the industry, is there something that you think that you learned from your family at a young age that you're like, every artist should know this when they start their career or in the trajectory of pursuing their careers?
Yeah, I feel like what I learned from my family is that talent is not everything. If you have a bad ego, it will hold you back. If you don't have discipline, it will hold you back. If you're not consistent, there are so many things that can hold you back. So you might be talented, but I don't know, like if you're doing too much, dude, like you're gonna hold yourself back. So I learned that. Like I do feel like some of my family members are one of like I maybe I'm biased, but I think some of them are really like the best vocalists in the tejano genre. But because of certain situations, they did not get there. So, you know, I feel like I always say my family's been working for generations to be able to find financial freedom and success in the music industry. So I almost feel like not entitled, but like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the one that gets it.
Yeah. And I think you are, you are doing amazing. And like at the very like start of your career, right? Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for like 3 years from now, you're gonna be huge. The world is gonna know you. And also with your family, I think that a lot of people say that working with family is tough. Like people often recommend don't work with family, don't work with friends, because like you're gonna end up fighting. What have you learned from working with your family in terms of like communication, trust in the process?
Boundaries are important. You know, I know how I want things. I know how I want my brand to be represented. I have to just be very firm about it. And luckily, my parents have just done nothing but support me. We've had falling outs where they didn't agree with certain things, but if I felt passionate about something and I felt like it was going to push me forward, I was always right. And my mom would always tell me, like, Mija, like, I know I told you not to do that, but you ended up being right. So you just have to be firm and sure of yourself, I think.
Do you remember a moment of like one of those decisions that you would like to talk about?
Yeah, they didn't want me to release a specific song, and I felt like it was a hit, and it ended up being a hit.
Can we know which song?
It was from my first EP. That's all I'll say. Yeah, but it ended up putting me on the map, and they didn't. Yeah, it put me on the map though. It put me on the map enough to meet my team that I now have.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always love talking about teams too. And this wasn't part of my little questions, but can you talk a little bit about when you started expanding your team as an artist? Because I am very passionate about talking about all the people that come along with one artist trajectory. And I think that oftentimes the first person that's outside of like, I guess your close circle that supports you is like, oh my gosh, this stranger believes in me. And it kind of like validates your process. Can you talk about maybe the first person that you started working with?
Yeah, I started working with Mario Ortiz, based out of San Antonio. Excellent musician. He opened up his label and we started working and stuff. I think it's funny. Earlier we were talking about how the West Coast and Texas, how LA and Texas have like this like little rivalry going on. But I think right now, like with where I'm at and it even happened with Selena. Like it really took this like sense of LA and Texas collaboration to create a female cumbia artist that hit the mainstream. Mm-hmm. So with my team that I have now, and by the way, like it really does takes a village for an artist to become successful. When I met Alan Vega and Marissa Channing, they just opened so many doors for me, and they knew exactly how to. They saw my vision and they helped me expand on it and bring it to life and make it like an actual visual brand that had potential to take off.
You know, I love that you talk about your brand, because I think that when I learned about you, and oh my gosh, I want to tell this story because I want to tell the story of how we met. Because I'm like, it's an embarrassing story. It was un momento muy humilde para mí. When I introduced you.
No, it's okay.
Oh my gosh. So we met at the Dia de los, Mid-City Mercados Dia de los Muertos festival. And I remember I was so excited to introduce you. There were multiple artists, but I have to confess that I practiced the most with like all the things that I was going to say about you. I was like, she's a cumbia artist. She just released her EP. Like, let's like hype up the crowd. And in the moment when I was in front of everyone, you were one of the artists that had the most audience that I was like introducing. Uh-huh. I blanked out on your name and I realized that like my brain just disappeared. Yeah. Your name, and I was like in front of everyone and I was like, no. But like as I was like talking, I was like, how do I solve this? Like I was like saying all the things and I was like, I can't take out my phone because it's gonna look hideous. Like this is like my biggest problem. And I remember that like it was your family, right? Like the musicians that were with you.
I have my brother on bass, my dad's on segunda voz, my mom was there, and then the rest are my homies. Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is embarrassing, but I was like, and with you all, and then I like made a pause and I was like, and I turned and I was like, what's her name? And your dad was like, Vanita Leo. And I was like, Vanita Leo.
And you know something? I really was so just like thinking about how I was going to perform. I wouldn't have even known had you not come and said like, I'm so sorry. Oh. I didn't even know.
No, I was so embarrassed. And I was like so embarrassed like with your family, like with your dad and with everyone. I asked Deo because Deo was in the audience. I was like, were you able to tell that this happened? He was like, no, it just looked like como una pausa de suspenso. Like, you're just like hyping up the crowd.
Sometimes you just need a little Wepa break, you know?
Oh my gosh. It's great. And then I went and apologized to you, but that's how we met. And and I'm like, when I was like doing research on you, I was like, I love your aesthetic. Like, I just love your fashion. I think that it's a signature of you.
Thank you.
All of what you embody, right? And so I would love to talk about how you started finding like your brand and like finding the things that you wanted to wear and made those decisions, because I think that it is very important for an artist, to like be distinctive and be unique. And I think that you achieved. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, in San Antonio, with the community that I come from, I feel like girls are either very like tejana or very cholita. So for me, I always felt the most beautiful when I had the eyeliner and the lashes. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I feel like in high school, how would girls dress? It was like I started high school in 2016. So
that's when I graduated high school.
So like during that time, I don't know, I would just like see all the girls at high school and they all had the lashes and the eyeliner and the hoops. And I mean, like being so real, like right now with Wendy Ortiz, everybody's calling it copy and paste Latina look. Mm-hmm. Like my whole closet is just jeans and like black tank tops. Yeah. And then like hoops and the whole makeup look. So I mean, I always felt the most beautiful when I was like going to more the Chicano side of the culture in Texas. Mm-hmm. And then when I met Marisa, she just helped me amplify it. So I don't know. I was really thankful.
Wait, can you explain who Marisa is?
My manager. Okay. When I met Marissa, she just helped me amplify it. Mm-hmm. And I loved it because I don't know, I really don't have the best sense of fashion, but fashion is political and it does need to be a representation of the culture you come from. So I'm really thankful for her because shit, it's all her.
Yeah, because just look.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. Yeah.
And I love that you mentioned fashion is political because I wanted to talk specifically about that. You posted a video where you said fashion is political, cumbia is political, and I would love for you to expand on why you say that.
I mean, if I make cumbia music, right, and I'm from the region of Texas, where cumbia is a melting pot of cultures, specifically in Texas, cumbia does come from Colombia, with the Colombian slave trade. The percussion we hear, the tambores, they're all from those are all African rhythms, and then the top lines, the flute, the accordion, all of that are coming from indigenous. In Texas, it comes from Germans, but it's a melting pot of cultures. So I feel like because I'm an artist, I have to represent that with my look, with everything. Yeah, that's why.
I think it's super interesting because some people may say like, oh, not everything is political, but I do think that right now in the current political state, things have amplified, but things have always happened, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that, for example, like wearing braids, I think I was reminded of like indigenous folks in the US, like Native Americans, that their braids were chopped off because they, like for men specifically, they needed to quote unquote look like men, right? And so they had to like cut their braids. Or right now that we have these horrendous reactivated policies of like, if you speak with an accent, if you look Mexican, whatever that may mean for people, you can get stopped in the streets, right? And so like choosing to continue to amplify the things that represent you. So right now, I don't know, your braids or even eyeliner, right? Like something as simple as eyeliner is political because you're saying, hey, I don't care whatever policy, like I am going to continue to be myself and represent myself in the way that I like, despite maybe being stopped on the street.
And this has been going on for generations. It's the same contract, just different uniforms. In Texas, we had the Texas Rangers, and in the late 1800s, they would stop Mexicanos, and if they weren't Christian or if they looked Native American, they would get massacred. And there's even a massacre that happened 5 hours away from San Antonio. They massacred a bunch of young Mexican American men, it's been happening for generations. So I just feel like it's all same contracts, just different uniforms. So fuck ICE. Fashion is political. Everything is political, and how we hold ourselves is very important. We are a representation of all of the roots that we have. So be proud of it.
And I love that your music and everything that you represent is just very, I feel like it's loud, it's loud, it's a loud pride, and I think that we should embody that because what else can we do?
I mean, it shouldn't be radical, we are here, we're not going anywhere. So it's powerful, and I think it was just this past weekend, or when this episode is going to come out, maybe 2 weekends ago. I think here in LA there was an event, and I hate that I can't remember what the organization's Moños algo. Moños de
Moños de mi niñez that did an event, and like I saw a lot of my friends that attended, and they like had their braids done, and I'm like, I just really love that. I think that there's this like big sense of pride that we as like Mexicans, Mexican Americans, Latinos are feeling during these times, and I think that's like really beautiful. That we can continue to be proud of who we are and like enjoy each other and enjoy our culture. And
that's why I love cumbia music specifically, because it really does belong to the community, to the raza. It's not. It's like Selena. Selena brought so many communities together of all age groups. Why? Because your tias can dance to it, your abuela can dance to it, your primos can dance to it. Everybody can identify with it because it belongs to the people.
And how are you, like, what are your dreams of how you want to impact cumbia, the music industry, and what you want to do with your career?
I feel like the best thing that I can do is do my best to stay authentic, stay genuine, and put out what I declare as bangers. I feel like as long as what I am doing is a reflection of my community, a reflection of the raza from San Antonio, I feel like it's going to be as rewarding as it was for Selena Quintanilla. I hope, and I do my best to honor everything she did, because she took something that was traditional, she implemented modern influences, and it brought so many people together. It brought the whole community together. It made Texas such a booming part of the music industry as well during that time. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like the best thing I can do is try to stay authentic and genuine to my roots. And si Dios quiere, it'll go off. Mm-hmm. And all I want is to bring that community together and to be a safe place. I want my music to belong to my Mexicano family in Mazatlan, but also to the Mexican American kids in Texas who struggle with their cultural identity. Like, I want it to belong to everybody.
Yeah, and I love that you in that one interview one of the interviews that I read, you mentioned that you self-identify as a quintessential working class hot Cheeto girl. Can you tell us what that means for you?
I mean, the same way a lot of people will say, you know how they'll say like boys with bowl cuts are Edgars? Mm-hmm. So I come from a part of San Antonio that's declared as like, I guess people say it's the hood, but everybody always says like, oh, that's where all the hot Cheeto girls are at. And, like the girls are like, but you got $1 or like stuff like that. But it's really, that in itself is a representation of resistance. I'm a Mexican American girl. So yeah, I feel like my family really hustled to be where they're at and to be able to provide me the ability to pursue my dreams. So when I call myself a working class hot Cheeto girl, it's because I'm literally that.
Yeah. No, I love it. And I think it's interesting. I was telling you before we started recording that I have family in Texas, and I have a cousin I think he's 18 right now. But he has a sister, and his sister would always tell him, he's an Edgar. And he was just like, an Edgar. And he was like, yeah. Like, yeah, and what about it? Proud, And I love it, because I think that this is such an interesting thing, that I do think the word and the intention of naming people this way was condescending. But I'm like, but historically, the word Chicano was also a word that was used condescendingly, but people just like own it. And I don't know if I talk about this in every single episode, but I'm going to talk about it again. Mm-hmm. I also like the reason why La Artisteada is called La Artisteada is because in Mexico, Artisteada is kind of like, he's playing artist or she's playing artist. Like, it's a phase, it's not serious. And I'm like, it pisses me off, because I'm like, the moment that people start creating art, they're an artist. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, let's redefine this word. And it's not until you make money, it's not until you get recognition, it's the moment that you start creating art, you're an artist. So let's redefine this word. And that's why the podcast is called La Artisteada. Definitely, yeah. And another thing that I also obviously want to talk about, that I made another part of the introduction, was you being on Rolling Stone's list for 2 years in a row. Like, how does that feel?
It feels great. It feels great, truly. I feel like I've been really doing my best to like stay in a good mental health space, or more so having the right intentions, so whenever I get that type of recognition, I don't take it lightly. Like, it really just kind of confirms like what I'm doing. I'm doing it right, and people are noticing, and people that I respect are noticing. Every time it's been Tomas, I love you, Tomas. And I don't know, I just feel like I don't take it lightly. I'm very thankful.
And how does, I think also like for our audience, I'm like, it's creatives, it's artists. How does that help your career move forward? Or what are the steps that you take after I feel like many people don't know, but being on lists like this helps your career move forward, because it puts you on the radar, not only of fans, but of executives that are in the music industry.
Yeah, I feel like for my fans specifically, I feel like I'm so thankful, because I feel like the fans that I have, the supporters that I have, they're so genuine and so like they interact with me so much. I have a lot of like now personal friendships with a lot of them. And whenever they would see me getting that recognition, of course, like it did open doors and like bring more people to my attention. But I feel like more so what those types of articles do is they kind of give like gatekeepers and like industry people like, you don't have an excuse to overlook me now. Like, mira, look at the, type shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's fascinating because it does put you kind of like on the map, but also how does it feel to be like, how do you balance being validated? Because I think that as an artist, you are often like having to be vulnerable and like exposing yourself and exposing your art. How do you balance feeling like that external validation with just your internal self-worth? No, I'm doing things. This is how I want to do things. And I need to continue to push what I'm doing.
You just can't get lost in the sauce, like receiving that validation. If anything, like I think those the journalists that do that, they know that it's so much more than just giving me validation. They know it's going to help me excel in my career. And if anything, that teaches me that the vulnerability that I have expressed, I just need to continue to do that on a larger and larger scale, or just like continuing to move forward, So, I mean, I just try not to ever prioritize external validation, but I feel like even those journalists themselves know, like, it's not that's not necessarily, they are validating it, but it's like, it's more like respect,
Yeah.
Respect, girl, I see you. And I'm like, thank you so much for seeing me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know. I absolutely, I love that. And for like, what's next for you? What are you excited about this year? And also, I'm like a million questions, but also, who is like your dream collaboration? We are on early 2026. We have a whole year to like hope to have one dream collaboration. Who would it be?
I'm gonna get real close to the mic when I say this. Gasu, I want you, baby. And Snow the Products, I want you too, baby.
Oh my gosh, unexpected.
Thank you.
What? Okay, tell me first.
Thank you.
I would have never guessed that those would be your chosen artists. But tell me, why Kazu? I love Kazu, and I'm like, I have to say that I am a proud Kazu fan since like when she was on the song Pati. That's where I like discovered her, and I was like, she's amazing. But now her career has grown, and she's so outspoken, and I need to read that book before she comes here to LA, because that is one of my dream guests too. Kazu, you're one of my dream guests too.
I enjoy Kazu's vulnerability. I think she is a real artist. I love her music. I love, ¿cómo se llama esta canción that she came out with? No te deseo el mal, pero con otra. She did Tejanos love that cumbia. That cumbia is playing on all Tejano radio stations because it sounds Tejano. So whenever you want to like do a Tejano cumbia, let me know, girl.
Like, I'm here.
I'm waiting.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And then Snow.
And then Snow the Product, I love how real she is. I love that she said one time she was just like talking about how a lot of the times the community or the world in general won't appreciate Mexican female artists until they're gone. Like Selena Quintanilla and like Jenny Rivera. So I really appreciated that she said that. I love her realness. I've been listening to Snow the Product. She really helped me with those struggles of my cultural identity and having ties in both countries. So I really appreciate her for that. Bilingue was like my gym anthem for years and years and years. And also I have some gay songs, so I have, I get pretty sappy with it, so I feel like I have this one song called Necia. Is that bad? Should we cut that out? I don't know. I just think she liked it,
But her last album, I was like shocked with this one song that she has. I don't know if it's like 5th or 6th on her last album called Faith. And I literally thought that the singer was Rihanna. Because I was like, wait, I like the way that she sings in that song. Because I've only heard her rap. I guess I'm late to discovering Snow the Product. Okay. But I love her. Because I heard her for the first time, I think, with Bizarrap song. I know that song like from beginning to end.
I love that song. And I love the On My Shit freestyle too.
Which one?
It's called On My Shit.
I need
I've
to
been on
listen
my
to it.
shit. Like, I gotta get rich. So I'm on my bed.
Hey.
Yeah. She goes off. She goes off.
Oh, I also wanted to ask, because you also rap on one of your songs.
Uh-huh.
Can you talk about that decision? Because I think that with cumbia, I think maybe in Argentinian cumbia, I love Argentinian cumbia.
Uh-huh.
They, ¿cómo se llama? Cumbia villera. They also rap a lot, but it's usually men that rap in their cumbia. So why did you choose to rap? And are you gonna give us a little bit more rap in your future music?
Oh yeah, I just did a song called I'm gonna call it La Cumbia de las Lesbianas. I mean, right? We're gonna call it that?
And that's up to you.
I want to call it that.
Oh, we love this announcement.
But no, I rap a lot. It's the hardest song I've ever done.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
It's really fast. Yeah, I could play it if you want.
Oh my God, we're excited.
Can I?
Well, yeah, if you want to. We love sneak peeks.
Okay. Okay. Oh, guys, I got these nails on.
World premiere? Yeah, world premiere at La Artisteada.
Yeah, so I'm definitely, and I want this one to have like La Chona vibes. I wanted it to be like I wanted it to be like a. Let me see. Y digo no, amigo de arriba para abajo, no más no. Aquí yo convierto si me bajo. Yeah.
I feel like a mom, like, hey.
Y'all should see my mom at the shows. That's how she is.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm so excited. What is your most exciting thing that's going to happen, that you believe is going to happen, whether it's like planned or not yet, in 2026? What would that be?
Tiny desk. Tiny desk. I would love to be on Tiny Desk. Yeah. I saw Paco Moroso and Catriel's thing. That's how I discovered them. And I would just love to be able to have that platform to showcase tejano and cumbia and that side of my side of the culture, being Mexicana from Texas. I think it'd be really cool. It'd be really dope.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I literally got goosebumps.
Thank you.
Because I've also discovered artists through that. Did you see Jay Noah's?
I don't. I haven't seen him.
She's a Dominican rapper, and I love her, and she's so good. But also, like, through Tiny Desk, I'm like, oh, that a dream. I want to see you there too.
Yeah, check it out. That's awesome.
And if you can give one piece of advice to creatives out there pursuing their goals, whether it's in music or any other creative path, what is one actionable step that you have taken that you think it's what's leading you to success?
Never, ever comparing yourself to anybody else. Focus on yourself. Stay in your own lane. I just feel like your music and your art will be successful if it just belongs completely to you. Or if like I collaborate with people I really like too. So, it's like we all have like a little baby together, the songs. So just stay authentic, stay genuine, stay true to yourself, love yourself, be sure of yourself. Don't ever compare yourself to other people.
It's tough, as a non-artist, I'm like, you just grow up comparing yourself to people, or other people like compare you often, with the grade system. I'm like, I'm so against the grading system of schools, because you're like, you don't learn to enjoy the process and try to like actually learn. You learn to compare yourself to something, whether that is with a number, with other children around you. So I think that to unlearn that is so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for me, whenever I feel whenever I feel myself comparing myself to somebody, I always ask myself, am I just inspired? Do I just appreciate them? Because you can do that and take that and then look inwards and heal that within yourself, so that you're not constantly falling into that trap. Because I feel like a lot of artists do fall into that trap, and it's really hard to get out of.
I think this conversation has been one of my, I'm like, every conversation, I'm like, I'm just so excited, but I just love everything you say.
Thank you so much.
I think like I'm super aligned with a lot of the things that well, not a lot of the things, most of the things that you say, like politically. I believe that artists should be outspoken and loud about the things that affect people around them, like not even like your own community, but people around you, you know, because you have a platform and you have power to impact the people that listen to you. So I'm just very grateful that you continue to be outspoken. And I think that in this episode, you just said so many things that are so important and very informed as well, like informed, historically informed, about like how the history is like happening right now, you know? And I'm very grateful that you are continuing to grow and that we were able to have you at La Artisteada, because this is kind of like one of my dream conversations to have. And I'm like, I could say this off camera, but let the people know that I genuinely believe this.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you so much for having me. Thank you for allowing me to have this platform to talk about these things.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come here. And thank you everyone for being with us. Thank you everyone for being with us on yet another episode of La Artisteada. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to check out all of the other ones, because we have a really amazing and deep conversations with creatives from LA, the US, and all over the world too. So thank you. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all of our social media platforms. But thank you. We wish you an amazing 2026. Okay, perfect. So let's give a huge round of applause for our amazing next performer, Vanita Leo. This episode was brought to you by Color Compton. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of La Artisteada, a media collective for global culture shapers. Make sure to subscribe and let us know how your art is impacting the world around you on our social media channels at la.artisteada. This episode could not be possible without the amazing team behind it, Erin Jimenez, Diego Lopez de Anda, and myself, Kiara. See you on the next episode.